In 1956, The Ten Commandments looked eternal, a film carved in stone, powered by gods, kings, and prophets who seemed larger than life. Nearly 70 years later, the cast who once parted seas and ruled empires are now tragically old, proving that even biblical greatness cannot escape human mortality. Charlton Heston as Moses. Charlton Heston was born on October 4, 1923, in Wilmette, Illinois, USA. He was 33 years old when he took on the monumental role of Moses, the chosen leader who confronts Pharaoh and leads the Hebrews to freedom in the Ten Commandments. As decades passed, critics began to dismiss his acting as rigid, even as Heston himself shifted focus toward political activism and public life. Gradually, public appearances stopped. Speeches faded. He passed away at home on April 5, 2008, at the age of 84, with his wife Lilia by his side. Yul Brynner as Rameses. Born on July 11, 1920, Yul Brynner came into the world in Vladivostok, Russia. He was 36 years old when he embodied Rameses, the proud and defiant pharaoh whose rivalry with Moses formed the emotional spine of the Ten Commandments. By the early 1980s, Brynner was diagnosed with lung cancer, a devastating blow to an actor whose voice and physical presence defined his power. Even as his body weakened, he continued performing, refusing to surrender the stage. Yul Brynner died on October 10, 1985, at New York Hospital at the age of 65 from lung cancer. Baxter as Nefertari. Baxter, born May 7, 1923, in Michigan City, Indiana, entered the Ten Commandments at the height of her power. She was 33 years old when she portrayed Nefertari. By then, Baxter was already an Academy Award winner, celebrated for her intelligence and emotional intensity in films like All About Eve. Behind the scenes, her health began to betray her. On December 4, 1985, Baxter suffered a massive stroke while hailing a taxi on Madison Avenue in New York City. Baxter died on December 12, 1985, at the age of 62. Edward G. Robinson as Dathan. Born on December 12, 1893. In Bucharest, Romania, Edward G. Robinson was 62 years old when he portrayed Dathan. By the time of the film, Robinson was already a legend. Yet his off-screen life darkened during the McCarthy era. Publicly accused of communist sympathies, Robinson was placed under investigation, draining his finances and eroding his emotional stability. In his final years, Robinson worked relentlessly. Edward G. Robinson died on January 26, 1973. Debra Paget as Lilia. Debra Paget was born on August 19, 1933, in Denver, Colorado, USA. She was only 22 years old when she appeared as Lilia. Her exotic beauty and innocence made her one of Hollywood's most photographed young actresses of the 1950s, with prominent roles in films such as Love Me Tender, opposite Elvis Presley and The Indian Tomb. At an age when most actresses were chasing longevity, she abandoned Hollywood entirely, turning toward spiritual life and privacy. As of 2026, Debra Paget lives a quiet, private life away from Hollywood. John Derek as Joshua. Born Derek Delavan Harris on August 12, 1926, in Hollywood, California, John Derek was 30 years old when he played Joshua, Moses' loyal and steadfast follower in the Ten Commandments. Behind the headlines, Derek's personal life grew increasingly unstable. Financial strain, declining credibility, and health problems accumulated as the industry distanced itself. John Derek died on May 22, 1998, in Santa Maria, California, from cardiovascular disease at the age of 71. Martha Scott as Yochabel. Born on September 22, 1912, in Jamesport, Missouri, Martha Scott arrived in the Ten Commandments as a figure of quiet gravity. She was 44 years old when she portrayed Yochabel, the mother who risks everything to save her child. As film roles diminished, Scott adapted, turning to television and stage work to sustain a steady, if quieter, career. Martha Scott died on May 28, 2003, in Van Nuys, Los Angeles, at the age of 90 from natural causes. Judith Anderson as Memnet. Born on February 10, 1897 in Adelaide, South Australia, Judith Anderson. She was 59 years old when she appeared as Memnet, the venomous handmaiden whose icy devotion and lethal loyalty sharpened the intrigue of the Ten Commandments. As years passed, Anderson endured the quiet erosion of age with iron discipline. Honors accumulated, Tony Awards, lifetime recognitions, while film roles thinned. Judith Anderson died on January 3, 1992, in Santa Barbara, California, from pneumonia at the age of 94. Vincent Price as Baka. Born on May 27, 1911, in St. Louis, Missouri, Vincent Price was 45 years old when he appeared as Baka, the cruel Egyptian overseer whose cold authority adds quiet menace to the Ten Commandments. By the 1980s, Price was still working but increasingly slowed by illness as COPD and Parkinson's gradually drained his strength and breath. Vincent Price died on October 25, 1993, at his home in Los Angeles, at the age of 82 from lung cancer. John Carradine as Aaron. Born Richmond Reed Carradine on February 5, 1906, in New York City, John Carradine entered. The Ten Commandments was 50 years old when he portrayed Aaron, the conflicted brother of Moses, a man torn between faith, doubt, and loyalty. Carradine married 4 times, and each marriage ended in separation or divorce, leaving behind emotional wreckage and strained family ties. By the late 1980s, his body began to fail him. John Carradine died on November 27, 1988, at the age of 82, at Fate Benefertelli Hospital in Milan, Italy, from heart failure and kidney failure. The Ten Commandments once spoke of God's law, but none of the cast escaped the laws of time. The glory of 1956 now remains only in memory, images, and names that have aged or passed away. Which face stays with you the most? Share below, and stay with us as we uncover what happened after Hollywood's legends faded from the spotlight.